The story began when I was 6 years old. I was in a reading class at school at the time, but unfortunately, I really want to go to the toilet. In fact, at that age, quite a few kids also pee their pants, but I'm afraid of being embarrassed in public, so I put my hand up. Tell Mrs. Zebby I need to use the toilet after my talk about how I should take a break. He gave me the key to the disabled toilet because this is the one closest to our classroom. It was 5 classes of God at that time. There's no one in the hallway. It's like a deep, dark cave to me. I was a short stature at the time, scrawny person, especially when opening the door. I fumbled for a minute or two, trying to open the toilet door. I always have some trouble with doors. Anyway, when I sit on the toilet, there was a knock on the door. Someone is here. I respond to the door. I'm not happy with the sound. There was a pause at the door, then knocked again. It's faster now, more identified. Wait a minute. The knocking on the door slows down. A voice replied, "Let me in. I need to get in." The man's tone was thin and sharp. I didn't even recognize it as an adult. I'm almost 6 years old. I still know a lot about etiquette. Mainly, you can't let other strangers join you. Stay in an area slightly larger than the cupboard. Go away. The knock on the door intensified again until there was a crazy banging sound just a few feet away from me. I can't see him, but when I heard that voice shouting something, I'm getting more and more desperate. "Let me in. Please open the door." And I was terrified. The hangs and shouts were too loud, but no one came outside the door. Finally, my teacher found me, because I've been gone for almost half an hour. So he was angry when I refused to open the door to let him in. He got a spare key from the receptionist, then take me to the principal's office, called my parents. I was suspended for a week, but I never did tell anyone what happened until the next time I encountered this phenomenon. A few more weeks went by. I just celebrated my 7th birthday. My family is cooking a barbecue for me. It's a sunny day, but when we put everything in the vegetable patch at the back of the house, the coal suddenly went out. So my dad let me go. Find some lighters in the shed in the garden. It's narrow inside. I can't even find a place where I can sit. So I opened the door, tiptoe to get the lighter from the shelf, then go out and close the door. When I turned to leave, there was a frantic knock on the other side of the door. Open the door. Swim out. This voice is not mine for a month. The one I heard before. He's deeper, more upset, more angry. I hurried away without saying anything. I don't know what happened, but he frightened me. When I leave, there was a final bang. It's like a fist hitting a log. I heard his voice again. "You bastard. Of course I'll pull your teeth out. Just let me through." I ran back to my party. For the rest of the day, I always look back to that uneasy place, as you might have guessed by now, and there's lots of that. I counted. There are at least 30 in total. About every month I come across. They begged me to let them in, almost always after I closed the door behind me. It's like these strange entities have been following me. I never told anyone, but let's be honest, I'm just used to it. They always surprise me. Some sounds make me feel uneasy, but I know as long as I don't open the door, I am safe. Some sounds I've long been used to. I even gave them names. There's one that always shows up at my front door. Frosted glass on the door. I can see a man of medium build, silhouette wearing some kind of hat. He never spoke, but occasionally an envelope with blank paper pushed through the mailbox. I called him the mail carrier. He's one of these very disturbing people. If I try to talk to him, he'll look up. He looked at me with those sharp eyes, then start knocking on the door. So I usually ignore the mailman. 20 years have passed. I tried to be as normal as possible. I have many friends. I even met a girl last year. They have intermittent relationships for waking up in the middle of the night. Listen attentively. You're on the other side of the door. For those who cannot hear, it's not bad. Yes, my friends think I'm weird. Weird, but they can stand it. They are all nice to me. I'm going to miss them. But things started to get weird again. I guess it's weirder than usual. 3 weeks ago, I was suddenly awakened in the middle of the night, sweating profusely, crying all the time, but I don't know why. As I recall, my dreams are normal, a huge shadow, suddenly shrouded in everything. When I opened my eyes, I heard the sound of knocking on the bedroom door. But it wasn't just a normal knock on the door. This is crazy. Who's there? I shouted, please help us. And he said, I'm surprised. It was my 7th birthday. The kind of brutality I heard in my father's cabin. Angry voice. But he seemed genuinely sincere. He also has a painful language. The guy who was angry seemed to be hurt. Actually, I pulled the sheets apart and got ready to get up. But I hesitated. I never thought about opening the door before. I think when I was a child, I have been very strict. Put such an idea in my mind that everything out there is evil. Never open the door, but it's just common sense. It got worse. Just 2 days later, and I went to the local corner store. I just bought a bottle of milk and a newspaper. Suddenly a powerful force hit the door of the store hard. At the same time, a voice starts screaming. It's a slender, a sharp scream of intense pain. I turned to face the door, but there are a lot of flyers on the glass. I could barely make it out. On the other side is the shape of a woman. His palms beat against the window. The shopkeeper glared at me. It's like I'm crazy. And finally, I asked him if I could use the bathroom. Say something in a low voice. After dubious excuses, I hid in the bathroom for 10 minutes until the screaming stops. It's happened 4 more times since then. Both screams. There are also tearful prayers. The mail carrier came yesterday too. He knocked politely, then put him. Ordinary letters were stuffed from the mailbox, letter after letter, and then another one. There are 10 ordinary brown envelopes in total. The mail carrier waited a few minutes, knock on the door occasionally, and then he left me. Each letter contains an A for sheet of paper. Someone is holding a black pen. Scribble on paper. Ink heavy color. There was a big tear in the middle that soaked the paper. The ink has melted and the edges are worn. I put them back in the envelope. Tried to forget them. Earlier today, my bedroom door swings violently. Shake, but what I heard wasn't screaming, howl, or growl. He's just crying. Dozens of voices wept quietly. I got another punch in the door. The plaster peeled off the wall, falling to the carpet. Those voices still haven't pleaded or bargained. Just cry. Collapsed and I jumped out of my chair, collapsed a tiny crack, split a corner of the door frame. My phone started ringing. I heard the window glass behind the curtain make a harsh knock. I tried to answer the phone, but just more voices on the other side of the phone crying, even beyond crying, more like crying in fear and pain. I hung up the phone, but the phone just kept ringing, so I took the battery out. I pushed most of the furniture against the doors and windows, blocked them up. The last time those things tried to get in, it's been 3 hours. The blow did not abate, not crying. I'm pretty sure my door won't last long. As for my flimsy struts of furniture, he could be washed away in 2 minutes. And I found myself confronted with a problem, a very real possibility of death. So I wrote this memoir, in case something really happens. What do they want? Do they even want to hurt me? They used to look fearless, even full of malice. What motivates them to do this? Maybe I should open the door. Maybe I should let them in. There was silence. I realized that all the crying had stopped. I sat there for a whole minute, and I stood up, hastily walked to the door, eager to escape this claustrophobic situation. Maybe I'll go outside, where I can get away from any door. Stay away from the damn knock on the door. I pulled down the barricade, turned the handle. The door was locked, and I knelt and looked through the keyhole. Looking out the bedroom door is not the hallway I remember, but another room. I was thinking maybe a library or a classroom. He seems to be empty, but there was one kid sitting with his back to me, reading. I banged on the door. Hey kid, just let me out, okay? He glanced back. Yes, it's here. Can you open the door? Sorry, I was flooded. I shouldn't talk to anyone. Go away. He turned around. I was confused and angry. He started to stand up. A loud bang broke the silence again, and I realized that it sounds like a fist breaking a glass. My window. I heard it again. But this is not someone crazy knocking on the door, trying to get in. It's not even an attempt to break in. Something other than curtains and glass. Everyone knows I'm in there. He knew I was scared, in the most predatory and brutal manner. It scares me. I turned back to the door and started beating him like crazy. Let me in, will you? I really need you to open the door.